So today we're here to talk about dead celebrities. I was thinking of calling this the dead zone. I don't know. That's maybe a little morbid, but celebrities are not immune from all the things that happen to everybody else. Being rich and famous doesn't exempt you from death, doesn't exempt you from taxes and probate and other things. And so, but because they're in the public eye and we know who they are, it's kind of interesting. So we have some of our lawyers, our good friend David Phillips here. I'm Rick Durfee. This is Michael Koberlein and Danielle Parlich here to talk about dead celebrities in 2023. Kind of entertaining. And one of the things I want to just kind of point out, we have no script. We're just going to talk about this stuff. The performer formerly known as Prince, I can't pronounce his name now. It's a symbol. It means something. He's back in the news. 8 years, I think the estate's been going on.
Yeah.
What did you say? What was the number of the state taxes, David?
Well, he paid $100 million in the state taxes. The estate did already, but they're saying that the estate, because of his catalog, because he had 1,000 songs that he had not published. And one of the interesting things is that Prince wanted to be totally private. That's why he took all of his songs off of the streaming stations and everything like that, because he wanted to control his catalog and all of the songs. And he had 1,000 songs that he had recorded. 1,000 songs. They were down in his vault. They were not out. And of course, now the IRS sued that, that's worth a lot of money. And so that's why we had 100
I'm
million.
waiting for those songs. I like his music. Where are they?
Well, he had about 5 really good songs. But,
well, some good ones.
Yeah.
Some
I
of the
mean,
other
I'm kind of a top 40 guy, so, and he had a lot of songs that were not top 40. So, but very talented, and
he thought he was immortal.
And that's exactly right. He did not honestly think that he was going to die, and so therefore, why should I play him?
Yeah. And that's actually, that happens to more people than we might think. They think, oh, I'm not going to, or if I plan, I might be inviting or encouraging death.
But it was interesting that back on Prince, though, so he didn't do any planning, and so as a result, it's a big, huge mess. But there are, and Prince gets all the press, the Aretha Franklin, James Brown. I mean, these guys get all the press. But, the common guy out there who has, substantial assets, they're sitting out there, and 72% of today's affluent do not have a strategic plan in place to pass wealth to the next gen.
That blows me away. How often have we encountered, and we've worked together enough, that this has happened a lot. People will come up and say, I only have, and some big number will come out of their mouth. Do you really think I need to do an estate plan? And it's mind-boggling. Oh no, you're exempt. Your big estate is going to pass without any trouble. Don't worry about it. I don't know.
Well, at a time when we pass, and all of us have been involved in somebody dying. I mean, that probably somebody close. Both my parents are gone and my brother's gone. I mean, so we've had people that are close to us that have died. Lots of friends. My best man at our wedding died at 65, and so it's we've been around it. We know we've experienced it, and at that moment when somebody leaves, I would like to have the best emotions of life, personified, love, unity, not hate, not jealousy, not envy,
conflict.
Conflict, because we did it. We didn't plan. We weren't smart enough to plan.
Yeah. So, Mike, we just got off the phone with a party affected by
a person.
Yeah, who's somebody passed away who had done no planning, and the emotional fallout was.
Yeah, it's. Well, I had a phrase come to mind, but I don't think I should say that on video.
But it was brutal.
Needless to say, she's got some issues going on because of it.
Yeah, it's traumatizing. It causes anxiety, frustration. People aren't getting what they want, and whatever does happen, regardless of what it is, it's not the right thing. So yeah, planning matters.
Go back to celebrities.
You get back to celebrities. I'm sorry. We pontificate. Something that strikes me with the celebrities, is the number of young ones. 25, 40, that are, just suddenly accident, overdose, undisclosed medical issues, who knows, things that happen, and they're suddenly gone, no warning.
The Friends actor, is he the most recent? The Matthew Perry at like 50 something, 54?
Was he even that
Is that
old?
how old he was?
It was around that age.
Around that age?
Did he have a plan?
It didn't say in the article that I read
But he had-
whether he had a plan or not.
No children.
But no children, not married.
Not married, yeah.
Had foundations, he had a lot.
Had
His
he done
book,
stuff?
his book came out and everything. I'm not positive. I think he might have had a trust, but
And he's
Royalties.
continuing to get residuals
Sure.
from Friends.
Sure, well, that's
So where that
Heck yeah.
goes,
Ongoing
nobody
value
knows.
there.
That show never dies, does it?
Whether it's in a trust or not, we don't know. It didn't clarify. It might be. They did say that he may have a trust. That
But you have like, and Aretha Franklin passed away a couple of years ago, but here you have a situation where she had pancreatic cancer. So Matthew Perry didn't know he was going to die.
Sure.
Prince didn't know. Prince didn't think he was going to die. But Aretha Franklin knew. She knew, and she died intestate.
Yeah, she had not only fame, but she had resources she could have planned had she been willing to.
And it was a mess. It was a total disaster. James Brown, probably the greatest disaster of all. I mean, you got Prince is pretty bad, but James Brown, 11 children, so-called children, came up and said, "Hey, he's my daddy."
Only 11? I think Prince had over 100.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all of them claiming paternity, all of them claiming a piece of the estate, and a nasty fight to sort it out. Way to go, James.
Yeah, for sure. So,
the surprising one to me, I read Bob Barker. No family. As far as I remember, most of his money went to foundations and charities.
But at least he planned.
Yeah, no, he had done that, but he was more of a, I want to say, animal rights activist, and just wanted to send most of his money to foundations that he supported.
but might just think that had he not had that plan in place, it would have just gone mostly to the government.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's even more crucial when they don't have kids.
as I understand, he didn't have a lot of family.
Yeah, and to that point, these celebrities that die with no plan, it's the IRS that benefits the most. The IRS and the litigation lawyers. So having a plan and having it go to the foundations of his choice, supporting things that he believed in, was a far better outcome.
Yeah, positive thing.
Yeah, and here's another problem. I talk about it in our newsletter, Generational Wealth Strategies. I think it did last month in the January issue, but or actually this month, January. But when we die without this plan in place, we're exposing it to these taxes, and with just a little tweaking, we could avoid all of that tax. Just a little bit of tweaking. And one of the reasons why people are right now very content, guys that you and I talk with, come to our master's class at the Money Show, they're sitting there with 50 million, no plan in place, and their claim is, well, the federal exclusion, the federal estate tax exclusions at 13, almost, well, a little over 13, and almost 13 and a half.
And it's
billion.
indexed inflation, so it's going down.
And so it was, well, it's not going to impact me. Well, there's a tax doomsday that's looming,
Yeah.
and it's December 31st of 2025, and all of that's going to just come crashing down, and it's a law that's in place. The only way it's going to be stopped is Congress has to make a move.
Right. And being rich and famous is not a get out of jail free card.
And there's so many other benefits to having that kind of planning in place besides when you pass away.
Another problem, another reason why I've seen a lot of people frozen in their tracks here is, of course, the estate tax, big credit. only 17 states have inheritance taxes now. But this portability thing,
Yeah.
and
That's mostly a good thing.
it is a good thing.
And can be used effectively, but there's a gotcha in there.
Yeah.
And one of the gotchas is if you don't invoke it, you don't get it. And so people think, oh, I have it, but they didn't cross the T's and dot the I's necessary to invoke it, so it doesn't happen. And then time
Well,
passes.
in one of your talks at that Money Show last time, or maybe it was at Freedom Fest, I can't remember, but you were talking about portability and the estate freeze, and the fact that if you incorporate on the first death, if you use the B trust,
Right.
that instead of waiting until the second
Right.
spouse dies, you get to freeze that credit, whatever that credit is, at the time.
Right. If the credit of the person that died is set aside, segregated out, and there's various names for it, B trust or credit shelter trust or a bypass trust. But that makes it so that now we've used the exemption, we've applied it to these assets. If they continue to grow in value or accumulate income, all that appreciation and accumulated income is out of the taxable estate. And that can push if all you use is the portability, porting the exclusion of the deceased spouse to the survivor, you can run afoul of that. And
You can lose that,
Head
lose
over
that
the
freeze,
line.
yeah. So, I mean, right now at 13 million, an estate tax last year was only 1,500 estates were impacted in the whole United States last year.
And most of those were, rich famous people.
The ones we're talking about here.
How about that? So Nell, who's your favorite celebrity that died? Was that a fair question? Sorry.
That's kind of an interesting way to word that. But I really liked Matthew Perry, though, from
Yeah.
Friends, because I grew up watching it. So that one was kind of sad in him.
It is
And his
sad.
own personal stuff that he was going through. So
Yeah, and that's a good observation that anyone's passing
yes.
is sad and it's difficult and I don't mean to make light of that. And quite the contrary.
Well, that just goes to the point that it happens to everyone, though, no matter how rich you are.
Yeah. Fame, celebrity status doesn't exempt you. In fact, I went through a list. There's like 100 celebrities that died last year. There's a list of them. So, any concluding remarks?
Yeah, well, I'd like to just say, kind of reemphasize, the celebrities get all the press, and it's the average American that has an estate that, we kind of need to take a cue from these celebrities, and your firm, the Durfee Law Group, is very proactive in making sure that this is done correctly. And, you and I were talking with a client I was talking with a client after you talked to them the other day, and she said, but it's so complex. There's so much to it. And it really, if you peel back the layers, you can see that it really isn't that complex. There's a lot to it. I'm not going to lie to you. Your trusts aren't 5 pages.
Right.
Okay. And so I've had clients say, well, it's just so much. And I've even had a client or two complain about the cost. But good heavens. And Mike, you may maybe shed some light on this, but the cost for probate is way more than the cost for your trust.
Well,
for
and
an equal
time
estate.
consuming.
Typically.
Huh?
And time consuming.
And time consuming.
And the conflict
And dealing with the
suffering.
courts.
and taxes
Yeah.
and the anxiety and angst that turns into anger and then they
just take care of it now. Do your planning now. I mean, what's the axiom that we use all the time? Prior planning prevents poor performance, and we just gotta get this in. And there's no reason, if you've got assets, for you not to be proactive in this. I mean, Prince, yes, because he didn't believe he was going to die. So okay, I give him a pass. He thought he was immortal, and he was very vocal about it. He wanted to be private, but instead of being private, he became very public, and everything
Scandalous.
is accessible. And it became public knowledge because, if we have a trust set up, it's not public knowledge, it's not advertised, and so.
That's a really good point.
That's one of the reasons we know about the estates of the celebrities is they end up going to probate, which is a public proceeding.
Yeah.
Any journalist can go down to the court and say, I'd like to see that file, please, and look through it and find out all the dirty little tidbits of
The laundry.
The laundry, yeah.
Yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, if you have it set up, that they could all, as much as the media will allow it to,
It can be contained.
remain contained and private. That's a
And I
that's a
think,
big deal.
too, from my perspective, I'm kind of the quarterback of the team. And so I get people interested in going to to having you guys do all of the hard work. But, I see I see this plan unfold, and it's in place. I mean, mine's there. Some of our close friends that you and I work with are there. Some of our clients are there. And we're not part of the 72%. We're in our own little group that have done the proper planning. And I frankly, I'm almost kind of a prince.
Do you think you're going to live forever?
Well, no, I just, I
learned
look
the
at
secret,
it. I
Dave.
look at it, and I want to be like my mom.
You have 1,000 songs in your
I want to
archive.
look like my mom. My mom was 95, and she was going till
Your
the
mom
day
was awesome.
David's a
till the day
musician.
she died. She was going hardcore. And in fact, on the Monday before she died, her GP told her, Teddy, that was her nickname, was Teddy. Teddy, you're going to live to be 100. And she died on Wednesday. So, it was.
She had other plans, or at least she did.
Well,
Yes.
My dad had other plans.
He came and got her.
Yeah.
I'm fetching you, babe.
Yeah.
So
I'm tired of being alone.
I like your point, though, that although we talk about the rich and famous because they're in the press, they're in the media, it is the ordinary person. An incident in my neighborhood that happened recently was a young family. The husband was in his early 40s, a blended family, children from a prior marriage, no planning, and unexpectedly, without warning, he passed away. And it was awful, obviously. But because there was no planning, his ex-wife, who was estranged, who did not have custody of his children, as the biological mother was able to come in and claim half of his marital assets. And she got it. And it was brutal and ugly. So it's the little guy that didn't have a lot to lose and who was harmed by that, even though ex-wife is saying, oh, this is for the benefit of my children. I'm sorry, the children are not benefiting from that.
Hey, I know we kind of want to close, but I want to tell you. If you remember, we have a client that he's one of our clients, and I won't say too much, obviously, because I don't want to disclose who he is or what he is. But he, pretty wealthy guy, doctor, and he had a second wife. Second wife had some kids actually here at Arizona State, and his kids were older, on their own, married, and he didn't do a prenuptial for the second wife. B, didn't have an estate plan in place, and had a $6 million IRA.
Yeah.
Okay, and guess who is the beneficiary of the IRA? Well, actually, the second spouse is the beneficiary. But then he started thinking about it. Well, that's not really where I want it to go. I want it to go to my kids. And at that time, there was the stretch. They could stretch it. Now they have to pay the taxes because of the Secure Act. They have to pay the taxes in 10 years. But even still, it was a total. He had no idea that he was so exposed.
Yeah.
And then we sat down with him and we said, this is what's going to happen if you do it this way, and this is what's going to happen if you do it this way. And he did it our way.
Right.
And
He fixed it. The gotcha was there. We spotted it.
We spotted it and got it.
Guided him around.
We've even seen estates where the first wife was
The first one, the ex-wife.
the ex-wife is the beneficiary.
Now, in
of the
fairness,
plan.
there's a mechanism to defeat that, but it's expensive and time consuming.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
A big pain.
Yeah, no, it was actually going in the new spouse's hands, but that's not what he wanted. He wanted to go to his kids.
So maybe this is a video for the rich and famous, not about the rich and famous. If you're one of those people that You got a little bit going on out there. You think you're immortal like Prince, or you think that this doesn't apply to me. The rules don't apply to me. That's another celebrity hazard. But if you think that, think again. Get help. Get appropriate planning. Get some good advice. Even like an amazing singer or an amazing athlete, their performance can be improved with a coach. In estate planning, the outcome can be improved by getting knowledgeable counsel, which is why we have a team like this. So thank you for joining us today for the Dead Zone, dead celebrities and disasters that happen in their estate plan. We hope this was helpful.
Get some good bloopers from this.
Yeah, we'll get some good
Great.
bloopers. So if we fall asleep
Or crickets.
scratch our nose or whatever it
That's
is.
my go-to.
We had. I remember them decades ago when they were younger and better looking. Age happens to them too. Sorry. Then there's others like Julie Andrews that will be good looking forever.
Yeah. That's true.
I think she's succeeded at that.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes.
If Julie Andrews sees this video, she should call. If for no other reason, just to say hi.
Yeah.
But you guys were talking about her, so
I love Julie Andrews. She's still a great actress.
Yeah.
It's hard
Mary
for
Poppins.
a female actress to keep getting good roles as they age. And she's done that, and she's
No, but she can't sing anymore.
Oh, is it? Is that not her?
Yeah.
so the Gills aren't alive.